that stretched for thousands of miles and contained hundreds of mini Zimbabwes, each with its own ruler. In Great Zimbabwe, a king's influence carried on long after he died. Spirits of ancestors remained an ongoing presence, both as powerful rulers and spiritual advisors. Today, the local Shona people are thought to be descendants of the people that built Great Zimbabwe. In modern Shona culture, the spirits of ancestors are still regularly contacted through a ceremony performed by a medium in a cave below the Acropolis ruins.
The Shona are very religious people. They believe strongly that their ancestors are not dead and gone forever, that they are alive. Through their mediums, they can punish them, they can bless them, they can pray for them. And therefore, if you don't follow what they say, you are likely to come into misfortune.
Stan Mudinge, a Zimbabwean government minister, has studied the ancestors of the Shona people.
Usually, the spirits of the ruler, the dead rulers, were the most powerful spirits on matters of state. And these spirits possess mediums, and they become, in every respect, the emperor back in human form.
High on the Acropolis overlooking the kingdom is a sacred enclosure where we can imagine what used to happen. During times of trouble, the king would come here to pay tribute to his ancestors and ask for guidance from his spirit medium. The medium would work himself into a trance and be taken over by the spirit of a long-dead ruler. This supernatural link between the king and the nation's founding fathers was fundamental to the culture. Through his medium, the king exerted influence over the spirit mediums of lesser rulers. In addition to military might, he wielded a powerful spiritual control over any who would challenge him.
You didn't need a huge army to control. You had control psychologically. You could make people peaceful. You could make the pronouncements which people will follow and will obey.
These great stone birds were symbols of that power and are among the few icons to be salvaged from this sacred place.
This was a civilization which represented the highest achievement of the Bantu-speaking people in this part of Africa. The wealth which they accumulated enabled them to build such massive structures as they have built here in Great Zimbabwe. Especially down there in the valley, I think there was sheer arrogance, pomposity, the great madness which seized Louis XIV to build the great Versailles Palace. That was not a place for one man to live in. That was making a statement of his wealth, the significance of his country, and what he thought of himself. And the same madness seized the people here and built these huge, magnificent stone structures which we now admire.
Great Zimbabwe was constructed over several centuries by a devoted people. 1 million stone blocks were shaped just to build the outer wall. Each subject paid tribute to the chief with 7 days of labor each month, not slave labor. They built this monument to honor their king and provider. The original builders of these walls came to granite outcrops like this one. Today they still quarry blocks, as they have for centuries, to repair the broken walls of their ancestors.